Well, okay, guys, we're gonna talk about another movie. So today it is for Drop. That's the name. Just Drop. Just that's the simple name. So for this movie, the trailers it did look interesting. There were definitely some enticing moments in the trailer that gave me some hope for this movie. And after seeing it, I gotta say there were just moments where I just felt that the acting was unconvincing. Uh, there wasn't really a lot to work with parts of the script, and I'll get into all of that. I just felt like for me, it wasn't convincing enough to the point of what they were trying to convey with the emotions or the kinds of reactions or stories they were trying to show us and give to us. I just felt like I couldn't see it with maybe it was part of the script and the acting combined. It wasn't it for me. And I feel like there are a lot of others that probably enjoyed it a lot more than me. So I'm not going to talk about too much. I'm not going to talk about that too much. We're just going to sort of move on. And I'm going to tell you guys what it was about and tell you guys the highlights that I found in this movie. So we have Violet and Henry. Those are pretty much main two characters. I believe there's only 4 or 5 named characters in total. And so Violet, she has her son. Her sister is watching her son while she's going on this date with Henry. And her ex-husband, the father for her son, he's at the picture and he ultimately ended up dying. And how and when and why, all that is revealed sort of slowly through a series of flashbacks that take place during the duration of this movie. So they do sort of pivot and give us a backstory for Violet and for these characters that sort of we can sort of see them as human beings because of for some people relatable stories that these characters have gone through. And that's why she's so reserved in wanting to go out with anyone and see anyone. And so here we have her. She's finally giving Henry a chance. They get to this big, fancy, sort of skyscraper restaurant. And Violet meets this other older guy at the bar in this restaurant where he's going on a date with someone else, and it feels like his date night in this location. And so as she meets with Henry, they're talking. The dialogue is where I just found the acting unconvincing, but that's also, I would say, part for the script as well. I just felt like there was a lot of filler stuff in here. So obviously, we see from the trailer, Violet is getting these drops of telling her basically to kill her date. But there's a lot of conversation about food and what we're going to have, what appetizers are we ordering, and what food, what do you recommend? There's just a lot of questions about the menu. And for a horror movie a few years ago that came out called The Menu, food and the passion behind it, or the passion not behind it, was sort of the forefront of the story for why the characters act the way they are. So food was definitely a part of the story in that movie. But in this movie, it really doesn't matter at all one bit. The food is just, it doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever, except for, I feel like, you're just watching people order food half the time. That's what it felt like. So that part was disappointing just because it felt like they were using it. Not only did it feel like it was filler, but it felt like it was being used to sort of stretch the runtime. It felt like there was this neat idea behind the movie, but there wasn't a lot of thought put into how that time would really, how it would be a longer enough movie. It's my dog being crazy. So, for the drops, when this mysterious person gives her these drops saying, kill your date, it starts with this, then do this, then do this. And there's sort of this step-by-step order of things that this guy wants her to do. And she doesn't want to do any of it. And so a lot of the dialogue between, because he can see these cameras and everything, and she can hear him talking, and how she's figuring out when and how he's listening and watching her. That part was interesting. It's product placement. It's seeing how things are in the movie, and then you recognize, oh yeah, that's here, so that's why she's doing this at this time. So the product placement part of the movie, in my opinion, was a strong positive. I felt like it really helps propel the story forward instead of being a handicapped as props sometimes can be. So that is a big positive for me for this one. However, that's basically the extent of it. It's her arguing whether or not she's going to actually kill this guy pretty much until the last 10 minutes. And so the threat is if you don't kill your date, your son's going to die. And so she's trying to protect her son while trying to save this guy, while trying to find out who it is. And as we skip to sort of the climax of the story, when she finally sees or realizes who is behind the drops, we get sort of this confrontation between the characters. And this part I found was fascinating. It felt that there was some cheap stuff thrown in there. For example, where the guy was sitting, oh, well, there's not a camera here. So actually, you've already poisoned over there. So just this sort of foolproof plan of this guy's getting away with it entirely. It felt like at first there were no stakes for him to actually be taken down. But she actually faked him out where she poisoned this guy's food instead of the date drink. So as he has these sort of final moments, he pulls out a weapon, he's firing at her. People are falling out of the building, everyone's screaming, there's all kinds of chaos going around. So it escalated quickly. And what I have heard other people sort of point out is obviously he's calls his guard and saying, hey, kill the son, kill her sister. He's watching her son. And she gets home in like an instant. She goes down this big tower, gets to the car, and she gets home instantly. So it felt like there's definitely the timing felt a little off because it felt like it should have taken her longer. Because there's really nothing that happened back at the house except for the guy going up the stairs, I guess. I mean, it felt like in the time she took to get home, these people walked from one room to another. And so the timing was just kind of hard. It was kind of weird. But if you get past that, then when she gets home, there's a confrontation between, obviously, her and the shooter. So there is a little bit of action in this movie, but this is the last 10 minutes, the action part of this movie. And so I felt like the big violent, I would say, the violent moments and the cliffhanger moments were all in the trailer. So there wasn't really much left to be shocked or surprised by. It was very predictable. You can't predict who the person is from the trailer, but when you get to the movie and you see the group of people, you can kind of, you only have a few people to guess from. So it's just, these other people you guess from don't have enough screen time to really be invested in who's innocent and who's not. It felt like it dragged. Which was just unfortunate. So overall, I think the concept of this movie sounded really interesting. I was excited to see it. I felt like they kind of dropped the ball on this one, just based off of the fact that it felt like they really struggled to extend the runtime. And I think trying to extend it resulted in a lot of filler for being here and there throughout the movie. So that was unfortunate. If the movie had just been shorter, I felt like the pacing would have been a lot more consistent, and the movie would probably have ended up a lot better. But overall, it was okay. It was interesting. There weren't a lot of plot twists, but what little you do get were fun, I guess. So if you want to check this movie out, I'd say go for it. It's a neat watch, but thank you guys for watching my video for it. Keep it digging, guys. I'll see you next time.